evening, everyone. It's so lovely to have you here with me this evening to join me on your mats to invest in your body, mind, and soul. So for those of you who are joining me for the first time, welcome. And for those of you who have joined me before and are joining again, welcome again to another Serenity session with myself, Alison. I do hope that you have found yourself a nice, comfortable, either seated position on your mats or on a chair, and just enjoy this particular practice, which allows expansiveness in the body and the mind. So allow yourself to come to a cross-legged position, either placing one foot in front of the other, the ankles to the mat, or if you are sitting on a chair, to be comfortably seated with the legs uncrossed and feet flat on the floor. If again you are seated on the floor, you may wish to keep the legs stretched out in front of you with the soles facing towards the toes facing towards the sky, if that's more comfortable. And if you also have slight back issues, you may wish to prop yourself with the corner of a cushion just to raise that pelvic floor so that your knees are closer to the ground. So whichever way you feel comfortable, come to your mats and just adopt a very quiet mode of breathing. Scan the body, keeping the head lightly floated or floating above the neck, the chin parallel with the floor. Allow yourself to ground down into the earth with your sit bones and feel that connection with the body. Placing the hands just gently upon the knees, palms up or facing downwards, and just softly closing the eyes. Keep the spine straight and tall. And feel that energy from the crown of the head travel all the way as you inhale down to the base of the spine. Feel the expansiveness in the chest and allow that chest to expand outwards, and then the navel to softly come inwards towards the spine as you exhale. Inhaling, expanding the chest to receive that air, and exhaling out. And doing this a few breaths to settle the body. In your own time and within your own limits. I invite you to keep your eyes closed if you wish. And I'm going to do 3 opening breaths and then acknowledge you with our Namaste. Taking a deep breath, stretching the arms wide, gathering that energy around you, looking up to the sky if your eyes are open, palms together, and exhaling down towards the center line of the body, towards the heart. Inhaling deeply, expanding the chest, palms together and towards the heart space. Exhale. 3rd breath in, inhale deeply, palms together, and bringing that hand all the way down towards the heart space, gently bowing the head towards the chest. And I bow to acknowledge your presence. Namaste. To gently opening the eyes, I welcome you again to today's practice. It's part of the Serenity series, which is just calming the body, but providing today especially an expansiveness within yourself. And this expansiveness is for you to find that quiet moment in yourself which unlocks that creativity. We are part of the lunar energy, the calendar this month. And this week we've had a full moon, so that allows that fullness of creativity to come out in the body. So we are going to unlock some of that energy, and I'm just going to remove my cushion for ease of movement. And you may come to a cross-legged position again. You may wish to change the cross on the legs just to balance the body. And that lunar energy I speak about is the cooling energy. In Hatha Yoga, you've got two words, Ha and Tha. Tha is the moon energy, and you've got Ha, which is the sun. So often it's male and female, yin and yang, hot and cold, or cool. And we're working with the cooler energies today, although you may feel a certain sense of heat building up, it's generally to cool the body down, especially at this time of evening, where we're just trying to come to a quiet time, winding down from our busy days or hectic days, or frustrating days, and allowing us to come to a sense of rest. So allowing yourself to come to this cross-legged position, keeping the knees quite low and the ankles quite soft. Now, if you are feeling any tenderness in the ankle, grab a blanket if you wish, just placing it under there just to soften that, because we are all delicate in different places. So we're allowing yourself to come to your mat quietly, keeping the shoulders back and down and the spine nice and high. We're going to allow ourselves to do some side stretches now. So spider walking the arm across to the left-hand side here. And we're just going to lift the arm up and overhead, keeping the spine quite straight in this position, allowing that side body to open up nicely, looking under that arm if possible. Now, if you're suffering from any sort of heart conditions, hypertension, you may wish to keep that arm quite low and just place it in front of you or somewhere along the knee, and just allow the side body to come to its natural bend, keeping that right knee nice and grounded, not lifting up and coming off with the hips. And just allow your neck to be nice and soft. No tension in there. No forced pressure in any part of the body. If your arms are up and overhead, you may wish to take the gaze up and under that right armpit. And just gently allowing that arm to float down. Bringing the left arm up and overhead. If, of course, you don't have those contraindications I spoke about, and spider walking that the right arm across the mat. You may wish to drop that elbow down just to rest on that, and keeping that expansiveness in the chest open, shining the heart towards the sky here. Breathe it. You may wish to take that arm, if you've got that range of motion in the shoulder, over the head, and just allow it to dangle with no effort, keeping the knees quite grounded. Don't forget to breathe in this position. Just inhale and exhale. If you're feeling any sort of tension in any area of the side body, you may wish to breathe into that area. Focus your energies there. And exhale it down, floating that arm all the way down, feeling that softness in the neck. And again on the other side, spider walking that left arm across the mat, dropping the elbow down to the floor, keeping the knees quite grounded, lifting the right arm up and overhead. Just allow yourself to soften in this position, ground down into the earth, inhaling in your own time and space. Exhale. Try and generate that serenity in the environment you're in. And then floating that arm up and overhead, coming back to center, just gently pausing, inhaling here. And exhaling, spider walking that arm, right arm across, and lifting the left arm up and overhead. Just allowing all those little niggles in the back and the shoulders to gently release, naturally and unforced. And then just bringing that arm back up overhead, coming back to a central point here. Wonderful. Just rolling the shoulders up and back, softly, just releasing it, not holding on to the mat. You may wish to open the arms for a bigger rotation and a freer rotation, and then just reverse that movement, bringing the shoulders forward and together. Just gentle motions, not going any faster than you would normally. Just keeping it nice and slow. Just gently floating the arms down. So we're going to bring the arms up and overhead, gathering that energy, nice wide circle, palms together, and then placing the arms, stretching forward and just allowing them to drop wherever they are in front of you. Okay, allowing the body to creep forward, spider walking the fingertips towards the front of your, wherever you're facing, front of your knees direction, and bringing the head nice and low. Now, if you're not able to stretch the arms and do that and you need further support, you may wish to create two fists, one on top of the other, and place the forehead down. You may wish to also take some blocks if you've got them, or props, and just prop the forehead on that while you just soften the hips down to the ground. Just breathe in here, inhaling, exhaling, feeling that expansiveness in the chest, keeping the arms wide if you wish as well, allowing the chest to just melt down between the arms, keeping the neck soft. And then bringing the hands back to center and gently walking all the way over to the right hand side of your mat. Feeling that side body stretch here, really opening up. Keeping the head, readjusting the chest. That could possibly float nicely and rest on top of that thigh on the right hand side. If you're not able to go that low, just keep it floating high. If the hips are a bit tight, just take it where it serves you today. Inhaling and exhaling. Soften the shoulders. Inhale and exhale. With spider walking back to center. Taking a nice deep breath in here. And exhaling, walking all the way around to the left-hand side. Feeling that stretch in the hips, readjusting, and floating over that left thigh. Breathe in here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Walking it back to center. And just gently walking yourself back up. Wonderful. We're just going to readjust ourselves on our mats now. So I'm just going to come into our tabletop position so that we can get into some cat-cows. So I'm keeping my legs crossed, just rolling over onto and uncrossing into a child's pose. So we're just going to come into a gentle child's pose here. Keep the knees quite wide on your mat today, not constricted and together, allowing the chest that expansiveness that we spoke about at the beginning. Keeping the big toes together, keeping the hips quite wide. Allow yourself to gently come down to the mat and expand in front of yourself in extended child's pose. You may take the head to the mat, or if you're not able to go all the way down, you may keep it quite high. If the backs of the ankles are a bit soft, you may wish to place a blanket underneath them, just to soften that. Keep the tension away, and also placing a cushion between the calves and the backs of the thighs. All of these are props which are necessary, especially as we get older, to allow that comfort in the body. And allow the breath to just float out and into the body. Soften the elbows to the floor. And inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Feeling the expansiveness in the chest. Exhale, drawing the navel towards the spine. One more round of breath. Inhale. Through the nostrils, exhale. Through the nostrils, fully. Wonderful. Just gently bringing the head up, and we're going to walk our hands around to the left-hand side, just as we did when we were in the cross-legged position, as far over as possible. Inhale it here and breathe. Exhale, coming back to center. And then walking ourselves, keeping ourselves quite low all the way around to the right-hand side, feeling that side body stretch. Inhaling and exhaling, coming back to center. Gently just walking the hands up, just to bring the knees in line with each other. So this time we're just going to change this to come into our tabletop position. Extending the arms in front of us so that they're shoulder distance apart, palms spread or fingers spread wide, and rolling up onto the knees here. Allowing ourselves to come back down into extended child and lifting the body up, releasing the hands and just keeping a nice straight spine. This is Thunderbolt Pose. So we're sitting on the backs of our heels here, on the tops of our heels. If this is a bit too much, you may wish to again take the padding and place it under the ankles and between that area to allow that cushioning. Just allow your gaze or your drishti to be straight ahead, focusing on a point that's not moving, and that is often called infinity. Placing the hands on the tops of the knees. Try not to arch the back and stick the chest out, but rather keep the navel towards the spine and lift through the crown of the head. Imagine somebody has an imaginary piece of string pulling the crown of the head upwards. Soften the shoulders back and down. Take a few breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So we're going to move with the arms this time as in a moving meditation, so it takes away from any distractions of the ankles. So inhaling, bringing the arms nice and wide and rolling up onto the knees. Looking up at the sky if you wish. Now if you have the arms above the head and you've got any heart problems, again keeping them at shoulder height and then bringing the hands towards the chest instead as a variation. Exhaling down into kneeling position. So inhale, bringing the arms up and overhead, palms together and towards the chest, exhaling out. And you're going to start feeling the thighs working here. Inhaling up, working that energy and exhaling down. Keeping the neck moving. Inhale, up and exhaling down. One more of this movement. Inhale. Keep focusing and exhale it down. Really control. Don't just flop down. Control those thigh muscles and relax. You can remove the props that you have if you've got them in between the calves, thighs, or anything. And just allow yourself to come into a gentle child's pose. So placing the hands to the base of the feet and the forehead to the mat. Take a few rounds of breath here. Inhaling, you may wish to expand the knees if it's too much and too constricted, or you may wish to stay in this position, which is often a restorative or resting position, the fetal position. Inhaling and exhale. Extending the arms in front of you and then rolling up onto the knees. So we're coming into our tabletop position. Here the position is the palms are lightly stacked underneath and in line with the elbows and the shoulders. The knees are stacked underneath the hips. There is a gap between the knees because they're about hip width apart, and the knees or the feet are tucked behind the knees, so that when you look through the gap between your legs, you can only see a space and no feet. So we're going to come into a neutral position, which is facing the mat downwards. If you've got any neck injuries, Then be very mindful about lifting the head up and crunching the back of the shoulders there. If you do not have any neck injuries, we can go into cat and cow. So we're going to inhale by taking the navel away from the spine, lifting the head up and the tailbone up, and inhaling here, exhaling down. Sorry, that's cow, and this is cat. Lifting the arch of the back high to the sky, pushing through the palms of the hands and the tops of the feet. Inhale into cow, lifting the chin high, dropping the shoulders down, shining the chest forward, exhaling down. Gentle movements with the spine here. Just take it where you can today and where it serves you. Inhaling into cow. Lifting up. You can keep your head in a neutral position if you have any neck injuries again. Exhaling down, arching the back high. Tucking the tailbone under, drawing the navel to the spine, pushing through the palms of the hands. Inhale. And exhale it out. Wonderful. We're going to take that position with the right leg, and I'm just going to demonstrate. We're just going to inhale, and on the exhale, I'm going to extend my right leg outwards, trying to keep my hips parallel with the floor and not tilting upwards. So I'm leaving my leg extended, exhaling here, inhaling, bringing my nose to my knee, and then extending again. Okay, so we're just going to go into that motion, and we're going to swap sides. So inhaling, exhale, extend the right leg out, point the toes, squeeze the glutes, keep the hips level. You can keep your gaze to the floor, or you may lift your head if you don't have any neck injuries, and bringing that back. Knee to nose. Inhale, exhale it out. Extending that right leg out, pointing the toes. Inhaling, knee to nose. Exhaling it out. And release. Back to center. Readjusting. Give your wrists a little bit of a rest. Rotate the wrists if you've got a little bit of an issue there. Gently interlace the fingers, give them a wobble. Shake them, rotate them. Now, if the wrists are giving you a bit of problems, another option here is to create two fists with the thumbs on the outside and allow yourself to come onto the fists instead of just the palms of the hand. That takes a lot of weight off the wrists for you. So you can try that variation. Equally, you can put a blanket underneath the wrists as a prop just to soften that all together. All right, I'm just giving you variations because I know we all suffer in different ways. So on the other side now, left hand side, inhaling, lifting the left leg, exhaling, extending outwards. Inhale, bring nose to knee. Exhale, taking it out, keeping the hips level. Inhaling, knees to nose. Exhaling, taking it out. Inhaling, knees to nose. And relax. Coming back down into child's pose, taking the hands to the base of the feet, gently resting the head to the mat. Allowing that breath to come back into your system. You may spread the knees nice and wide, keeping the big toes together, allowing the chest to just melt and creating a little pillow with your hands for your forehead. And just rest it out here. Taking a few breaths. just taking a last round of breath, inhaling. And exhaling out, removing the hands, lifting the forehead and gently coming back up. Bringing the knees together if they're not together already. And we're coming back into our tabletop posture. So extending the arms in front of you, rolling up onto the knees, just gently parting the knees to hip width apart, tucking the feet behind the knees to hide them, and really stacking the shoulders above the hands. Now here, we're going to go into a particular posture, but we're just going to shake the hips from side to side. So we're sort of windscreen wipering the hips. So just bringing them from side to side before we come into what we would call a low lunge, and then into crescent moon. So that crescent moon is where we're going to find that expansiveness. So we're just working with the hips for the moment, because that's going to be quite a little bit more intensive, and our creativity tends to sit within the hips and that sort of sacral area. A lot of emotion is locked up in there as well, so you would find around full moon a lot of emotions flying high. You might find yourself feeling a bit sensitive, a bit angry. We often talk about the werewolf coming out at full moon around this time. And just bring that back into extended child, just gently looking towards the hands, coming back up into tabletop, so resetting ourselves. So we're going to lift, and I'll just demonstrate here. Inhaling, and on the exhale I'm going to take my right leg out, and on the inhale I'm going to bring that leg, opening my arms wide at the front and just stepping between the hands. So I'm just going to come into what we could call a lowish lunge posture. So see if you can attempt that. If you're not able to swing that leg right through, you can always assist yourself with a hand. Okay, so see where we're at. Notice that I'm sort of at a right angle. It's better for the front, the leg that's going through, to be further forward than the ankle to be behind the knee, which will give it a bit of pressure. So make sure that your foot is beyond the knee. So we're going to do that again from tabletop position, keeping a nice wide stance at the front with the hands. Inhaling, exhaling, and extending that right leg out. You can look forward just to steady the body, and on the inhale, just taking that foot forward, taking it through, helping it along so that it comes through the gateway of the shoulders there. At this time, we're going to allow the back leg, or the leg on the floor, to gently slide backwards. If you're feeling a bit of pressure in the knees, I suggest take that faithful blanket, tuck it under, or if you want to fold your mat as well, you can, just to soften it on the knees, and creep that leg forward. Now this allows nice hip stretching to go on here. So we're just going to breathe it here, keeping the hands high onto the fingertips and keeping the chest open and the shoulders open here. Breathe it. Inhaling, softening the neck. Don't crunch the neck to be looking upwards at this stage. Inhale. Exhale, keeping the hips level. Inhale, making sure the ankle is beyond the knee or just under the knee, but not behind. Pushing through the back, the top of the back leg, and pushing through the sole of the front foot. Inhaling and exhaling, just gently softening that stance if it's a bit too wide. Placing both hands on top of the knee that's bent, and coming up into what we would call a gentle crescent. Just allow yourself here. If you're not able to, come back down to that position you were in before, but breathe it. Focus on a point in front of you. For those of you who wish to go into the full expression of the posture, you may take it from here and take the arms up and just gently shift the weight backwards into the hips. If you have any major heart issues, you can keep the arms nice and low to the waist, but you may wish to keep the arms high, and you may keep the expansiveness of the hands wide as well to shine the heart through. Pushing through the front foot, keeping the palms together if you wish, and pointing that finger up to the sky. And gently releasing those arms down to the ground. We're going to roll the hips back. Just notice how I'm shifting my weight back, lifting that front foot up. You're going to feel quite an intense stretch in the calf muscle at this point. Just allow your arms and allow yourself to come into it if you wish. If you think it's too intense, you may wish to bend the knee to soften the intensity of it. But you may keep that straight, not generally locked out, but just softening. And allow yourself not to sway to one side, but to level off the hips, keeping the forehead towards the knee if possible. Breathe it here, keeping the toes to the sky. Inhaling, exhale. Gently roll forward onto that foot again. And just allow yourself to come to this gentle rocking position where you're rolling backwards and shifting the weight forwards. This is opening up this creativity, this area, the sacral area of the body, and allowing that expansiveness in the chest as well. So gently bringing that back, taking the hands in line with the foot if possible, or if it's gone beyond, in line with the shoulders just stacked under, and gently slide that foot. In fact, stay where you are. Apologies, stay where you are. And what we're going to do is we're going to do something called a bit of a transition, a swivel. I'm going to do it first and you can just watch, just in case we get all tangled up. So we're going to lift the back knee, so tucking the back foot under and lifting the back knee slightly, so you're in a sort of a runner's style position. And I'm going to swivel towards my left side, so not my bent side knee. And I'm just going to take my hands, keeping my feet in that position, and go all the way around. How are we doing? I can't see you, but I do hope that we're there. All right, I'm going to do that again. You can stay where you are. I'm going to go back to where we were, and it's called a very easy transition. So I was in this particular lunge position before. I'm going to go towards my left side, tucking my toes under, lifting that back knee, and gently spider walking myself, pivoting all the way around. So I'm now in exactly the same position on the opposite side. How good is that? And for my next magic trick, we're going to untuck the toes. We're going to allow the chest to just gently, softly float above or rest upon your left leg. So again, make sure that the foot is in the right position. One side of the body may be different to the other, so you may wish to either take that ankle a little bit further forward or soften it in some way or another, bringing it further back. So allowing the hands to either remain flat on the floor or come up onto the fingertips. Allow the expansiveness in the chest by bringing the shoulders back and down, looking forwards. Breathe it here. To just intensify this crescent, this low lunge into a crescent moon, gently bring the both hands up onto the left knee. So you will allow yourself to have that openness for creativity in the chest. Breathe it here, focusing on a point in front of you that's at eye level, pushing through or grounding down into the mat at the front with the sole of the foot, and feeling that in the hips, the expansiveness in the hips. Inhaling, not forgetting to breathe. Taking the arms up and overhead. If you do have heart condition or issues, take the hands to the hips. It will also allow the hips to encourage it to be level, but you may take the arms up and overhead, opening the arms wide, allowing the chest to shine forward. Breathe it here. You may wish to bring the palms together if you're in this position, and the upper arms, and then bringing the arms all the way down. Gently and softly bring the hips back, rocking them back, and keeping the toes at the front lifted. So I'm rounding my back quite a bit here, but I can keep my toes up, and you're going to feel that intense stretch behind the calf. Breathe it here for a moment. Just allow the body to melt. Try to bring or encourage the nose towards the knee and level the hips, because you will find that the hips want to sway to the right hand side. So see if you could level them up. Breathe it here, keeping everything soft. Soften the front knee if there's too much tension in the back of the thigh and the hamstrings. Gently lifting the head up and rolling forward onto that front foot, and just gently going backwards and forwards just to sort of massage and lubricate those hip muscles and the hip socket. So forward and back, but just going with your breath, lifting the toes up. And feeling that energy flowing through the body. Really unlocking that energy in the hip area. And then just gently, when you come to the front position, allow yourself to slide that leg back into your tabletop position. You would now be on the opposite side. And here we will allow ourselves to come into a gentle twist. So realigning the body, keeping the knees stacked underneath the hips, keeping the hands stacked underneath the shoulders. We're going to lift our left hand up and overhead. Now, if this is too much and you're not allowed that arm space, just keep it at shoulder height. And keep the eye gaze up and overhead as well. Taking it all the way down. Replacing the hand, and again on the opposite side, right arm up and overhead. Softening the shoulders, keeping the gaze either upwards, or if that's too much for the neck, to the floor or straight ahead of you. Gently bringing that arm down, coming back into a gentle child's pose, rolling back onto the knees and keeping the hips nice and low. Softening the arms close to the back of the knees or the feet. Taking a few breaths here. And then just gently extending the arms in front of you, sliding forward and coming down onto the elbows and allowing the body to come into a full stretch. So we're coming into what would be considered Cobra. So gently allowing the body to relax, placing the palms downwards next to the shoulders and resting on one cheek. Gently sway the hips from side to side on the mat. And feel that lower body, lower back tension gradually melt away. We're gently lifting the chin up. We're going to spread the hands nice and wide at the front of the mat, so just beyond the shoulders, a little bit beyond the shoulders, keeping the fingertips nice and high and the hands wider than the shoulders. And we're going to lift the chest up very slowly into a gentle variation of Cobra. Exhaling all the way down. And again, inhaling, and on the inhale, we're going to lift up at the end of it and exhale it out. Again, squeezing the glutes together, pointing the toes, engaging the quadriceps, which are the thigh muscles, taking it all the way down. One more Once more, inhaling. Exhaling, pushing through the fingertips or the flat palms if you're there. Lifting the head, softening the shoulders down, feeling that lower back, working its way up, gently bringing it down. Just once again, inhale and exhale it out. Lifting nice and high, keeping the arms wide, squeezing the glutes together, engaging the quadriceps. Breathe it here in this up position, softening the shoulders down and exhale it down. Resting on the other cheek at this time, softening the arms to the mat. Gently allow the body to roll over onto your back. So shifting the weight around. Allowing the feet to be extended, the legs to be extended in front of you, and the arms to be up and overhead. So this is sort of another variation of crescent moon on the floor, with the floor as the support. I often call it the banana. So you can step and walk the right and left feet all the way around to the right hand side, creating a curve with the body, crossing the left ankle over the right. Now walking the hands all the way over to the right as well, as much as possible, but keeping the left shoulder to the floor and the left hip to the floor. Breathe it here. It's a really nice side body stretch on the left side of the body. Breathing into that left side, releasing all that tension. Then gently uncrossing the legs and then gently walking the heels all the way over and the arms to the opposite side, which is your left side. So taking the feet all the way over, creating another crescent, crossing the right leg over the left ankle, right ankle over the left, and creating that lovely banana shape with the body. Keeping the right shoulder to the floor, the right hip to the floor. Inhale. Exhale. Gently uncross those ankles and walk yourself back to realign on the mat and the arms, bringing the arms down to the side of the body. Bringing the knees up so that the soles of the feet are on the mat. And allowing the knees to be in line with the hips here. Palms facing down alongside the body. And we're going to do a couple of bridge movements just to soften the lower back. So inhaling, and on the exhale, pressing the palms down, lifting the lower back up off the floor, up towards the shoulders. Keeping the chin in line with the chest. And exhale it down. Inhale. Exhale, lifting that movement up. Pressing through the palms and the soles of the feet, lifting the hips high. Inhale here. Exhale it down. one vertebra at a time. One last one into bridge. Inhale. Pressing through the soles of the feet and the palms. Exhaling, lifting up. Keeping the chin tucked into the chest. Breathe it here. And exhale it down. Just gently spread the legs quite wide as your mat, and just bring the knees together. Allow the palms to face upwards. And allow yourself to just come into a sort of resting position here before we come into our relaxation. Let the knees touch each other. Closing your eyes and just gently rock the head from side to side. Massaging the back of the skull. Softening the shoulders down and allowing the whole back to come in contact with the mat. Gently roll yourself around in gentle circles with your hands onto the kneecaps in one direction and then the other. Allow yourself to come to a state of rest, rolling over onto your right side of your body, creating a little pillow with your hands for your head. In your own time, allow yourself to gradually come up into sitting. Seating yourself in a comfortable cross-legged or extended leg position, so that we may close our practice with our breaths. Gradually opening the eyes if you wish, or you may wish to keep them closed to seal in that serenity. Taking a deep breath in, taking the arms nice and wide, inhaling, taking the chin to the sky, palms together towards the heart, exhale. Inhaling. Exhale. And our third breath, inhale. Keeping the palms close to the head, acknowledging the practice of wisdom, bringing the hands to the mouth, to the honesty and truth of the practice, and to the heart, to acknowledge the love of the practice. Namaste.